Theories. People with children do not want to listen to your theories about the end of the world. Ghosts do not want to hear from the living. People without swimming pools do not want to know that people with swimming pools had a good swim. This is not a sexy dream. Last night I had a dream where there was a man, a woman, and an old man. The man pointed a gun at the woman and the old man and told them to fuck. They had to fuck everywhere and try and not to get caught. On the street, in a car, in a barn. The fucking was not sexual. It was kind of like running or walking, but it just happened to be fucking. In the dream, sometimes I was the woman and sometimes I was the old man, but I was never the man with the gun. This next piece is an excerpt from the story. It's a story collection that's coming out with Book Hug, but I initially pitched it as poems and we're like, I think this is prose. So it's one of those ones that is kind of unlocked. But anyways, The Dream House. The future had bought some land and was building his dream house in Muskoka with his own two hands. The past was standing behind the future in yellow overalls and a backwards baseball cap, watching everything the future was trying to do. Every once in a while, the past would cover his mouth in an attempt to control an eruption of giggles. After looking back at the past with a little glare, the future laid down some boards and hammered some nails, trying his best to ignore the rude disruption. The more the future hammered, the more the past giggled into his palm. Eventually, the giggling turned into an outright laugh, and then a high-pitched cackle, followed by a stream of tears. The future threw down his hammer and stomped over to the past. What is your problem? Why are you laughing like that? The past wiped his face and took some gulps of badly needed air. I'm laughing, he stammered as another fit of giggles started to bubble to the surface. I'm laughing because when I'm finished with you, there is not going to be anything left of this place. It's anticipation that's keeping me alive. If you're cold, take off your sweater and come inside. And if you need a drink, get it yourself from the beer fridge. I'm not the host. I'm just sitting here waiting to see what's going to happen next. It's exciting, even if on the surface everything looks ordinary. The water, glasses next to the table, the throw pillows on the green couch. The wind rustles the leaves in the trees while someone throws a lit cigarette into the street. In a moment, it might rain, or maybe not. But it doesn't matter because it's anticipation that's keeping me alive. Yesterday, a snail crossed my path on the sidewalk. I picked her up and put her in the garden so she wouldn't get crushed by my foot when she hadn't even made it to the halfway mark of her journey. The snail's plight wasn't any of my business, but I have a savior complex. I don't think she appreciated my intervention because she crawled into her house and didn't come out. Where are you in your journey? And what could happen that would make you retreat into your shell? I'm in the blue void, but something will happen eventually. I just know it. Geese. What can be done about all the loudmouths? What can be done about the Canadian geese so they don't smell my fear when I walk by? Don't stare a goose in the eye. And when you pass, don't turn around to see if he is following you, because if he's not, he will start. He will make it a point. He will make a point of it because Canadian geese know that above all else, fear is valuable. I actually wrote that poem on the day that Trump got elected. That's my Trump poem.
That's great.
The compartment. Inside my body, I found a compartment. And inside that compartment was another compartment. And inside that compartment was another compartment. And inside that compartment was a green pea, and inside the green pea was another green pea, and inside the green pea was nothingness and nothingness and nothingness, and I certainly don't mean to suggest the feelings were neutral, but rather they were intense and magnified, and nothingness grew into a large shadow that felt like an X-ray blanket placed over the sky, feeling heavy, but still allowing for everyone to move their arms and their legs and their digits. And some could smile and some could not smile, and if you ask me how I'm doing today, that will be my answer. The blue teacup. The blue teacup purchased from the thrift store is communicating with me telepathically. It tells me what time to go to bed and which restaurants will give me food poisoning. It's good to have friends in high places. The blue teacup demands I leave it on the counter because beside the sink, and if I follow these instructions, it won't let anything bad happen to my family. This is a shakedown. This is blackmail. But I decide not to question the teacup's authority because you never know. If this is a dream, it is not a nice one. The nice dreams are the ones where I'm floating up to the 22nd floor and watching you on the inside finish your seafood plate. You're not allergic to seafood, but I am. I try to tell you this as you grin and hold up your lobster, but you can't hear me through the glass. Too bad. I also had a joke I wanted to tell, but I guess I'll save it for another levitation. Water. If you are feeling hopeless, then give up hope. I won't tell anyone. I won't tell you to put on a brave face or feel better about yourself. I won't tell you to wash your hair or pick up the dirty clothes. You don't know where to begin. I don't know where to end. We are water. We slosh this way and that. Sometimes we splash up against a boat, a dock, the shore. Fish swim through us, rocks sink. There are pebbles and little pieces of glass, and there are sticks, and there are shells, and there are fragments of bone. The garbage floats. A plastic cup, a beer can. Sometimes the sand beneath us gets stirred up. Sometimes it sits perfectly still. And the last poem I'm going to read is a selection of poems from my Instagram. I have an Instagram poetry project called This Isn't a Conversation, which is a series of one-liners and dialogue poems. And so I put a few of them together and kind of created not a conversation between them. So each time I pause, it's another speaker, and then I'll pause longer in between the sections. Hope you can follow. Okay. Let's say you live on a planet with limited resources and a complex ecosystem, and all your activities threaten the survival of all species, including yourself. What do? Let's pretend happiness. What if scientists discover that Canada is warming 2 times faster than the rest of the world and no one does anything about it? I think I've seen that movie before. How does it end? Not well. I know you're proud of yourself, but we happen to be facing extinction. You spoke and I went, mm-hmm. Why can't we be critical of society? Someone will listen. You should write an essay about it. Someone already did. Don't poison today with tomorrow. Everything's a selfie, but I'm interested in your inner life. Do what you want, but don't tell me about it. Are you trying to make me feel bad? No, I'm trying to make myself feel better. It seems impossible to find anything in this world that doesn't have a downside. You look better than I do. I hope environmental catastrophe doesn't interfere with your self-actualization. Look what I made! You're either interested in breathing or you're not interested in breathing. One like. What are your retirement plans? Extinction. You're letting the world come to an end. I know, right? Why isn't everybody screaming from the rooftops? Liability. Don't be a fatalist, dude. Who am I? I'm nothing. I like being here. I'm imagining something better. Nobody cares. Nobody knows what to do. Tell everyone what they want to hear. Good luck, people. If you put your head in the sand, I'll put my head in the sand. Okay. What if you saw a poem that said, I'm sorry I wrote this poem? I'd say, please save some misery for me. Thank you.